I've got to talk about the 10-inch LP, the 10-inch long play album, because this is a format that has always fascinated me. And for whatever reason, it died out between 1955 to 1956. But from 1948 to 1954, it was the most popular format on the market. So much so that Mercury Records was outselling its 10-inch LPs compared to its 12-inch LPs 10 to 1. So why did this format go away? And I really believe that the 10-inch LP is the missing link between the old 78, the 12-inch LP, and the bridge to what we have now with compact disc and digital downloads. And had we kept this technology, could we put about 25 or 30 minutes per side on a 10-inch LP? Would we even have compact disc today or digital downloads? Now, on June 21st, 1948, Columbia Records held a presser at the Waldorf Astoria, New York City, where they released to the public the first 12-inch commercial LP. It was a mono recording of Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto in E minor. Nathan Milstein was a soloist. He was in high demand at the time. Brenda Walter conducting the New York Philharmonic. But at that same presser, Columbia Records also released a series of 10-inch LPs. And this included music by jazz artists, popular songs, show tunes like classics. But the holy grail for me of the 10-inch LP is a 1952 recording of Carl Nielsen's Helios Overture. And this is on the London label. At that time, it was known as London FFRR. And FFRR stands for Full Frequency Range Recording. And I highly encourage you to go check out this recording here on YouTube. Now, the front of the cover of the album has a picture of a smiling sun. But this recording is so well done, you would think that it was recorded yesterday. It is that great of a recording. And of course, London or London Decca has always been known for their legendary sound recording techniques. And keep in mind that this album came out about 5 or 6 years before the first stereophonic disc in 1957 or 1958. So I ask again, why did this technology with the 10-inch LP go away? I would love to see this format come back. Now, it's important to note that Columbia Records was not the first to come out with a long-playing album. That happened in 1931 with RCA. But there were some issues with this because the album was made out of this material called vitrilac. I believe it was a mixture of both vinyl and shellac, so it was not very durable. You needed special equipment to play this on. They still used the standard 7-8 RPM grooves, and the pickup was very heavy. So after a few plays, the needle would break through the record. The record would basically self-destruct. And after so many customer complaints, this being the start of the Depression, RCA decided to shelve this project in 1933. But one of the people who was involved in that project, who would later go on to work for Columbia Records, was Maxwell Wallenstein. And Wallenstein would return to this idea of the long play album in 1947, 1948. Now, a year before this presser with Columbia Records in 1948, the 3M Corporation, 1947, releases to the public recordable magnetic tape, reel-to-reel tape. So with these two innovations, reel-to-reel tape, released in 1947, and the first commercial 12-inch long play album in 1948, this completely changed the recording industry. It changed the way we listen to music, we produce music, distribute music, and in some ways, even create music. And we saw this play out in the 1960s, 1970s, when you had bands like the Beatles, the Doors, the Rolling Stones. They started to use multi-tracking and different sound effects on whatever piece they were writing. But I would love us to return back to the 10-inch LP format. Now, you may see these in the back of a record store somewhere, possibly at a garage sale, and believe it or not, they are highly collectible, especially the 10-inch jazz LPs if they're in really good condition. But I wanted to come here and do this video today because this is a format that we can't forget about because it was very crucial in the early days of the recording industry. And there's a really great article by a site called Organissimo Jazz Forum, and the name of the article is 10-inch LPs. Do we know the full story? It's by a guy named the Magnificent Goldberg. Go check this out. He talks about what was going on with the 10-inch LP format and the jazz artist of the time. And there's an incident involving the producer, engineer, Alfred Lyon, who had recorded the famous Art Blakey Quintet at Birdland album, which he recorded in February 1954. And because of time constraints, he had to arrange the tracks however he could. But definitely go check out this article. The name of it is 10-inch LPs, Do We Know the Full Story? The Magnificent Goldberg wrote this. And it's once again on this site called Organissimo Jazz Forums. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes. You can leave comments below, and you can also reach me at Voice of the Composer at Twitter. But I wanted to come here and do this video today because I really love this format. I would love to see it come back. And, you might see a band today use the 10-inch LP to release a single or maybe 2 songs per side if they're trying to promote some type of album. But I'm hoping that we bring this format back, and it's a part of the recording history that we really can't forget. So thank you for being with me. Voice of the Composer saying peace out. I'll catch you next time. Stay safe, everybody, and God bless this great country.